If you're a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, this year has probably been pretty exciting for you. I mean, you've had the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie come out. It did fairly well. A lot of people seem to be enjoying that movie. You got the new Netflix show coming out. You got Sonic Origins, Sonic Frontiers coming out this winter, which I do want to touch on that game a little bit toward the end of the video, as I have some thoughts. I mean, the game's been catching some flack with what's been shown so far, and does it deserve it? We'll talk more on that in a moment. But what I wanted to focus on was Sonic Origins, as this game is coming out in less than a couple weeks as of the recording of this video. And there may be something going on here that could be a big deal breaker for people who are interested in this game. And yeah, I mean, it's a compilation of retro games. We've got Sonic 1, 2, 3 and Knuckles, and Sonic CD. But it's beyond just like, hey, a ROM dump of games. There are some reimagined things going on here, some extra modes, right? And one of the big ones is going to be that anniversary mode where the games are in widescreen, like letterbox mode type of thing, right? And it's not stretched out. It's just in that widescreen aspect ratio. And then you have the classic mode, which is the original games. You have Boss Rush, which sounds pretty self-explanatory. Just fight the bosses, right? I kind of like when they add those kind of modes, especially if there's a leaderboard. I don't know if there is here. But then you also have Blue Spheres, which Blue Spheres, I'd imagine, is just playing the bonus mode Blue Spheres games where you go after the Blue Spheres, right? We'll have to see with all that. My only concern with Anniversary mode is the way they talk about it here. To try something new, jump in the Anniversary mode with a full screen display, an infinite number of lives to keep the fun going without any game overs. Now, I'm not against easy mode stuff, but I kind of wish this was like, hey, if you want to play it like with limited lives, that was an option. If you want to play it like a classic Anniversary mode combination where you only have so many lives and you have to try to beat the game that way. But the way it's worded, I don't know. Maybe that is an option. They're just saying, hey, it does have infinite lives. We'll have to see. You also got unlockable missions, coins, and the museum. So players can spend coins to unlock new content from the vault, try the special stages, and more. Okay, so it's a little beyond just a normal retro re-release, right? It's coming out for all the different consoles and PC. We've talked about this chart in the past. I don't want to retread all this, but there is a standard edition and digital deluxe edition. The digital deluxe comes with all the DLC stuff that will be sold later. It is $5 more than the standard edition. It's $45. Standard edition's $40. Now, the extra crap that you get with the digital deluxe version isn't really game-changing stuff. You're getting mirror mode unlocked, which comes with standard edition if you pre-order it, but you can unlock that in the game. Now, you also get the hard missions, which is something you would have to pay for separately at some point. The letterbox background comes included with pre-orders. And then you get these character animations during the music island, the main menu, just like superficial stuff that's just an aesthetic, like doesn't have any bearing on the game. So really, with the pre-order bonuses, the DLC stuff, not like really amazing stuff. The letterbox background's like a bezel type of thing, right? But then the other thing, additional music tracks. That leads me into what I wanted to talk about, the music tracks. So this may be a deal breaker for some, and it may be very disappointing, especially for people who would expect a compilation of retro re-releases that like have the original games plus, additional content and whatnot, to have the original game included. As they say, they have the classic mode, but Sonic Origins, as this article on Eurogamer states, with the source explaining it, that Origins won't include Sonic 3 and Knuckles' original soundtrack. We've all heard the stories over the years with Michael Jackson and his involvement with the soundtrack, how that all went down. And just the weirdness with Sonic 3 being re-released at different times or being excluded. And it's just unfortunate. But I do think, even though that may sound bad, like, hey, we're not going to get the original game with the original music, someone who was involved composing music for the game is going to be included to do something pretty special, in my opinion. So the news was confirmed by Sonic the Hedgehog's social media manager, Katie, in a Sonic live stream. And she stated, while unfortunately we cannot use the original sounds from the Sega Genesis version of the game, June has been working really hard to adapt the original music that was composed in 1993 for Sonic Origins, but it goes beyond that. Jun did first start working with the Sonic franchise with Sonic 3 as a composer, and he did some, sounds and music for that game. So who better to have, work on music with this game, right? So, adapting the original music, right, could be interesting. So she states that he's been going so far as reproducing it with the same sound chip from the Sega Genesis and using his own digital audio tape collection to make this as faithful to the originals as possible. So Jun Senoue has been heavily involved in soundtracks for the Sonic series since Sonic 3. So I actually think that could be pretty cool. I mean, what other options do they have? And what is the best option? I think this may be it. I mean, if you can't go back to the original music, you can't use the music that Michael Jackson may have been involved in, what better option than having a guy who originally composed music for Sonic 3 work on readapting that music with, original sound chips? I think that might be pretty interesting. I'd be really curious to hear, how that differs from the originals, right? So this article, they go on a little bit about the history of Michael Jackson, how Sega distanced him due to news that was going on at the time, and how Jackson claimed he wasn't happy with how his music sounded on the Mega Drive or Sega Genesis sound chip. And they state that it's believed his music does remain on the original Sonic 3 soundtrack with similar melodies and chord sequences between the soundtrack and Jackson's songs released, shortly afterwards. A further twist came, and I thought this was interesting, years later with a PC re-release in 97 that included different music to the Mega Drive release. Turns out, though, this music was actually used in a Sonic 3 prototype predating the actual game release. So that could have been an option as well, right? Now, I don't know what that music sounds like. I don't think I've ever heard it, but maybe it's not good enough. And they're like, no, let's readapt the original stuff, right? Now, they also state other re-releases of the game have used the original Mega Drive music associated with Jackson until 2018, when various re-releases of the series notably excluded Sonic 3. And I remember, it just kind of seemed weird. After Jackson had passed away, it's like, we don't hear of Sonic 3. Sonic 3 is not getting released in its original form. And even now, it's like it's still not being released in its original form. Is this the definitive edition? That's the way they're kind of hyping it. Like, hey, this is a definitive collection of these games, but it's not the original soundtrack in its untouched form. Unfortunately, states Eurogamer has contacted both Sega and Michael Jackson's estate for more. Yeah, like anybody's going to get back to them. Come on now. So I'm really curious to hear what you guys got to say concerning all that with the Sonic 3 music. Is it a deal breaker? Are you just done? Like, forget it. I mean, if you were interested. If you weren't interested, that's a whole other story. But real quick with Sonic Frontiers, I've been hearing a lot about this game recently with all the footage getting shown out there, gameplay and whatnot with IGN, and how some people are giving the game flack. Like, hey, it's too, open. Like, there's nothing going on. It's empty, not open. That's the whole point. It's like an open world Sonic type of thing. And it's kind of empty, but the one reason I've been hearing is that it's a very early build of the game. And looking at this, these clips or these screenshots of environments, I don't know. This doesn't feel Sonic to me. It does look okay, but at the same time, when I think of Sonic, I think of the original games, the colorful graphics, cartoony type world. And I know Sonic has diverted from that back and forth, in the fantasy type worlds, it's the more realistic worlds and whatnot. And I think it could work if, it's polished up more, you know what I mean? I don't want to be too harsh as of yet. The game comes out in winter, so Sega, you ain't got a lot of time, my dudes, to get this thing going here. And hopefully any criticisms they're seeing, they kind of look at some of it, as legit criticism. Some things, I don't know. I'm always weird with criticism on certain things. An artist or a company may have a specific vision and people are like, nah, you need to do this. When does it end type of thing? You know what I mean? But I hope they really take a deep look at what people are concerned with. Not everybody is concerned, but, see if it's valid. You know what I mean? I really hope in this world that they're building for this game, has a lot going for it. The combat's great. I feel like Sonic really deserves some respect, and The community gives Sonic respect, but the Sega, and that's where the ball has been dropped numerous times in the past. And Sonic is a household name. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But like when I look at the releases, it's like there's other franchises, other properties. You go back, this is a classic, this is a classic, boom, boom, boom. Like every mainline game's a classic, and then you get the Sonic, and it's like there's too much divergence in what can be considered a classic and what was a throwaway game. So Sonic definitely deserves more respect from Sega. I hope they get on the ball with this one, and it could be extremely huge. Everybody's hyped for Sonic nowadays, and this could be an awesome game. I'm just going to have to wait and see more. But right now, I'm not like, oh my God, this is a must-play game. Not quite yet, but it could be there. It could be there. Hopefully, they're working on it. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you guys think. Really do appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.